this here. Okay, my name is Marion, and my last name is Lopez. I am the owner and founder of Mama Cheesecake, a specialty cheesecake business, and I specialize in vegan, gluten-free, but don't you worry, I also have fully loaded classic cheesecake. I am also a mama of two I am a mama very proud of two individuals. They're very amazing. I have a son-in-law that is also amazing, and I think I'll have a daughter-in-law somewhere in the next couple of years or 3. At least they're heading in that direction. I am also a daughter of a very spry 93-year-old. I am a sister of 3 other siblings. I am a cousin of many cousins. I am a good friend or best friend to a handful of individuals. I am also an auntie to several nieces and nephews, and I am an entrepreneur. So I want to tell you how Mama Cheesecake came to be. So I'm going to go back before I can go forward. So actually, I was married for about 15 years. Unfortunately, it ended in a very bad divorce. Lost my home, lost a lot of things, but I ended up with my children and my car. So I felt I was a winner in the whole thing. So we moved from Las Vegas back to Southern California and moved in with Grandma and Grandpa. And while we were with Grandma and Grandpa, the youngest one, who was 3 at the time, said, "Mommy, we're no more a family." I said, "Excuse me?" And he said, "We don't have a daddy, so we're not a family anymore." I left it alone. Ugh, I felt it in the heart. That evening before bed, I sat them both down and I said, "You know what? We are still a family. We're just a one-parent family now, but we're still a family." That night, they finally fell asleep after chatting and having questions answered. And then I went to bed and I promised myself that my kids were never going to feel like they were less because they came from a one-parent family. So I knew I had to get out and find myself a job. So I was looking. It took me 2 years to find that job. And when I finally did, in between time though, I was selling Princess House, I sold Tupperware, I sold, those candles everybody loved to buy, I sold candy, I sold everything I could. And then when I started working, I actually started selling to the individuals at work, my coworkers. And I told them, of course, it's a fundraiser for my kids. This is how I make the extra money for them so they can participate in extra school activities. So I kept on doing it. My boss actually came to me and said, you are actually sell so many different things, but you have an amazing cheesecake. Just sell that cheesecake and that will be your winner. That's your fundraiser. And I said, wow, okay. My sister got on board with that, and she actually took some samples to her school. She was a kindergarten teacher at the time. And I thought that was amazing. Well, it carried us all the way through their school. As my daughter was exiting high school, my son was getting ready to go into high school, and it turned out that I ended up losing my job. I was downsized. I'm like, oh no, what am I gonna do? Of course, a fleeting moment of thinking, I could take that fundraiser and turn it into a business. But my family and friends said, are you kidding? You can't do that. You still have 2 children to finish raising. You need a job. So there I was again, looking for a job. It was very tough at that time. So I ended up signing up with an insurance company as a 1099 independent contractor. And I did pretty decent. After 2.5 years, I was asked by the couple that I worked with to move with them to Northern California. And I said, to Northern California? And they said, yeah, you'll be our state trainer. And I said, oh, I don't know about that. That's going to be a lot of money. I still have my son. And they said, no, that's okay. We're going to handle everything, and we're going to get you a draw. I go, a draw? And they said, yeah, you're going to get paid $5,000 a month. And I said, wow, that's amazing. And they said, yeah. And I go, but how does it all work? Oh, don't worry about it. Just sign the contract right here, and it'll be okay. We'll never let anything happen to you. And I said, oh, okay, let's go make our millions. So I signed the contract, took my son kicking and screaming, and we moved to Northern California. Yeah, 2.5 years later, I thought things were going good, and the the insurance company contacted me and said, you now owe us $95,000.
No way.
And we are taking away all of your commissions and residual income. And I went, what am I supposed to do now? And I fell apart, of course. And immediately I thought, okay, I can run away and I can take off. And I don't have to tell anybody. I'll take my son who wants to move back down to Southern California. He finished high school already. I'll do that. I'll move back down and they'll never find me. Or I confess up to what I did. It was my name on that contract, no one else's name. I should have learned what that was. So I went ahead and I sent my son back down to Southern California, and I changed teams to another team. I got a coach to teach me sales, business from the ground up, because I got lazy sitting behind a desk. I got another coach who helped me with attitude of gratitude, because I knew I needed to change up here and in here in order to make it. 17 months later, I paid off $77,000, wow. And I was so proud of myself. And by the way, I owe them nothing anymore. It's all been paid off. Right after that, I decided to move back down to Southern California, but it wasn't working out the way I thought with the insurance company, so I wanted something else. I went in and I actually pitched a business at a competition, and I won. It wasn't cheesecakes, though. It was actually a one-parent business that would have been online. And it sounded really good, and I got into this business accelerator course, which was amazing. But the fourth course to the end, I found out the business wasn't going to work. It wasn't going to happen. So I thought, oh no, what do I do now? I shift, and I realized cheesecakes is what made me happy. Baking made me happy. So I turned to the business, and that's what I started doing. And I was so excited about it, and I knew this was the way to go. In the end, I realized that my business was definitely attainable. Very quickly, because I took everything that I learned, I was able to get it done. But early this year, I found out it wasn't sustainable because I was only doing it part-time. I really wasn't doing it as a true business. So this year, guess what? I am looking forward and anticipating the synergy that's gonna come from having my own business and creating it. I'm hoping to maybe even have my own shop. Not sure where, but I want to make this happen. And so I am so excited to carry this on and go on this ride with all of you, and you'll be able to find out what happens to Mama Cheesecake and as we go. And by the way, yes, I did bring samples for everybody to have. Thank you.